Let me just give you a brief about this research. This is a case institution in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia. And in fact, there were some issues regarding the integration of soft skills such as critical thinking and problem solving in the curriculum. We will see today in this coming 10 minutes what type of challenges the university is facing and whether there will be a solution and what kind of solution we can offer. When I say solution, evidence-based, research-based solution, of course. I would like to start with Einstein's famous saying when he said, education is not the learning of facts, but it's a training of mind. Although the training of mind to think. Although that's why I'm highlighting the word training, which is, I think it's not, I would say, the accurate word here to say, because normally we educate the mind. We don't train the mind. So since we are talking about educating the mind to think, let's see, in fact, what we will do about this type of embedding critical thinking and problem solving in higher education curriculum. What type of approaches? So this coming 10 minutes, we will be talking about only 2 points. What approaches are we using in embedding the critical thinking and problem solving in higher education curriculum? And the second part is an experimental study asking students to measure the extent to which engaging them in problem-solving activities can really add a value to the development of their own critical thinking skills. Let's first maybe have common ground regarding what type of definition we are going to be using. I think different people define things differently. That's why I would like to upfront to talk about what we mean by critical thinking and what we mean by problem solving in a constructivist learning environment. Critical thinking is an ability, it's a competency to analyze, to conceptualize, to synthesize information, to evaluate, and to interpret. It's an ability. So it's a learnable ability. So when we teach the students, this means that we need to teach them and get them to this level of being able to analyze. So this is regarding the critical thinking. Okay, what about problem solving? Problem solving is a process. It's a systematic methodological process, which really enables the students to define the problem, identify the challenges related to this problem, and then come up with a solution. All this within a constructivist learning environment. And when we talk about a constructivist learning environment, we are talking about a certain concept regarding what we mean by what is knowledge. From a constructivist perception, knowledge is not out there to be discovered. No, it's in here. In here means that it's in the mind of the individual to be constructed and reconstructed according to his own background knowledge and also the social interaction that he is supposed to be engaged in. This is the type of definition that we are going to be using all through these 10 minutes. Okay. Here also I'm talking about the characteristics of the critical mind in contrast to the non-critical thinking mind. Okay, but the most important thing here is, okay, let me highlight one of the most important things in order to let you understand the background of this research. The first, I can say question even, is how the case institution integrates critical thinking and problem solving. this case institution integrates these type of skills, these soft skills, through two approaches. You can say that these two approaches are interrelated and intertwined and interdependent. You can say that. Some people may not agree with this. The first approach is a standalone approach, and the second is an integrative approach. What is the difference between these two approaches? The standalone approach, we are talking here about the integration of these skills, the integration of these competencies. I'm talking about critical thinking and problem solving and others, of course. But today we are talking about problem solving and critical thinking through certain courses only. So students in a core curriculum program, students, they have to take a set of courses. One of these courses is critical thinking. So it's a course by itself. Yes, it has its own credit hour, but still it's a load over the students. Another approach is an integrative approach, and this is the integration of these skills across the disciplines. When I say across disciplines, this means that these skills are going to be integrated through the course projects. Across the disciplines means what? Means across all majors. So if you are taking a thermodynamic course, there will be a critical thinking component. The students, in fact, they should demonstrate, and also it will be assessed. In other words, it's also measured even across disciplines. These are the two important approaches that the case institution is supposed to be using in integrating these skills into higher education curriculum. As I said here, now, is there any problem with this? In fact, there is a challenge. And one of the most important challenges, in fact, is that many students say, okay, since you are integrating these skills into the discipline-specific courses, why should I take these courses again in a separate program? And this program is not my program. I am engineering, or I am law, or I am business. And I'm in the instructor is all the time highlighting these competencies, and we are, in fact, integrating them in our assignments. So you will find that students here, in fact, are talking to a great extent using some logic. Why should I take these courses? It's an add-on. Then, of course, one of the, you can say that one of the gaps that is being identified, not only through the gray literature, but also through the secondary resources, is that no study you can see that to tell you, okay, what is the solution? Is it better to depend on one approach and forget about the other? What about the students' perceptions? What about the students' belief? Do we completely ignore this, or what should we do? In fact, this is the gap that's already there. From all this great literature and the secondary resources, I came together with others with this type of conceptual framework to understand, in fact, the student perception and to see whether they are really making sense or not. This conceptual framework, according to the literature, according to the secondary resources, according to the gray literature, indicates that the standalone, together with the integrative approach, within a constructivist learning environment, improves students' development of critical thinking and even future employability. Okay, let's see now the other side of the coin, which is the actual experimental study. The questions here: what methodological approaches, what are the approaches that the pedagogical approaches or methodological approaches that this institution is using? And we talked about this. These are the two approaches, and we already covered this. The second is to what extent student engagement, in fact, in problem-solving activities within a constructivist learning environment advance their development of critical thinking skills. The third question, to what extent embedding these skills, critical thinking and problem-solving, really improve their future employability. The last question, which is the most important question, and this is, in fact, the whole study is focusing on this. What approach do students consider to be most effective in developing their own critical thinking? Is it the standalone approach or the integrative approach? Here, I hope that I haven't exceeded the time. Not yet. Okay, I'll take more.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's great.
No, you have taken 10 minutes.
Okay, that's great. All right. So here, as I said, this is an important question that the study, in fact, is supposed to focus on. Okay, the methodology is used. Of course, it's a micro research. It's not an extensive research at the macro level. It's quantitative study. The students are freshman students from different disciplines. 76 is not that many. And that's only a survey is used, data analysis, descriptive statistics, and the finding. The finding, you can expect the finding, in fact, of the study. The finding, the majority, one of the most important finding, in fact, is that very few students were for the standalone approach. Of course, all of them, the majority, I would say the biggest majority were for the integration of these activities, I mean, critical thinking and problem solving through case study and argumentation and debate. They are for that. And this is part of the study. They are for that. And they are even believe that this type of activity add value. But when it comes to the standalone approach, very few students said that it's really adding value to the development of critical thinking. These findings are vital, gentlemen and ladies, because in fact, these findings are partially consistent with the previous research and the literature. Students' positive attitude towards the constructivist learning activities is supported by the literature, no problem. Yet these findings, in fact, from students' perspective regarding the standalone approach, really, there's I would say it's pioneered that students are not for this. In so many other institutions, also it's not even discussed. So these findings are vital, as I said, and they have practical implication, not only for the university, for the curriculum designers, for the decision makers, because it, in fact, when you say the integration of these skills in a standalone approach, this standalone approach, it has, of course, financial commitment. So the question here is, the decision maker now, when this type of study is supposed to be provided, of course, it has a lot of limitations. Let me give you the list of limitations that I consider that need more research. Lack of methodological triangulation. This type of research, in fact, is not triangulated. So when I say methodological triangulation, I'm talking about just we depend on survey. So we need survey, interview. We need to know more about the students' experience, in fact, with this type of standalone courses. The lack of also stakeholders triangulation. And we are talking about students. What about the other stakeholders? You cannot, in fact, as a decision maker, depend mainly on students' perceptions. The students all the time will be against the curriculum, against the program, against the structure of the program. But can we take only the students' perceptions? I think it's questionable. We cannot depend on the students' belief only, or perception in this case. Here we also lack we have perception across disciplines. We are just having very few. Also lack of classifying students here made, of course, students in the freshman are completely different from the sophomore, from the junior students. Here, as I said, it's important to consider all these type of limitations later on in another research, which I think I started this before, and even collecting more data for this type of research in order to have a solid evidence-based outcome. Thank you. And questions. I hope that I didn't exceed my time.
Thank you, Prof.